Hey guys, welcome to episode 15 of the Happy Knitting Podcast. I'm Julia and I'm coming to you from Germany, where it is currently very, very rainy and disgusting. And yes, this is a knitting and sometimes spinning or sewing podcast. Thank you for watching. I'm really, really glad that you're joining me today. Honestly, I haven't been feeling too great at the moment, or like lately in general. But I still really want to take the time to talk to you guys because it makes me feel better, and I think, I just really want to keep this going. I have a lot of stuff to show you guys. So I hope that you will still enjoy watching me. So I will talk today about FOs. I have a few works in progress. I have some spinning. Then there is a knit along. I have a few news bits. I don't have any acquisitions. Well, I do have a lot of acquisitions, but they're not here yet. And then I have a favorite of life stuff that I want to talk to you about, so if you're not interested in that, that's totally fine. I will just do that at the end. Before I start off, I just wanted to say hi to Julia. Julia is from Germany, and she's another podcaster who has the General Waist Knits podcast. And she mentioned me last week, and it was really nice. And it was a nice surprise. I think I saw it on the weekend when she magic linked me in Ravelry, and I really enjoyed her podcast. I had never gotten around to watching it before, but she's very peaceful, very nice, and like she talks slowly, which I enjoy. I know that I don't talk slowly usually, but she does, and it's very peaceful and relaxing to listen to her, and yeah, I can definitely recommend her podcast. So now I'll go into finished objects. First of all, I'll show you my hand-spun hat. So this is my hand-spun yarn, which I spun from fondant fiber from a merino nylon braid in the colorway Lavender Tea. And I mentioned last week that this had the beginning of a shawl, and then I tried socks, and I frocked everything, and now I have a hat, which I really enjoy. So as you can see, there's almost like a gradient sort of happening with the colors, which I really like. It was completely unintentional. I just did a 2-ply, but yes, I really like the sort of structure and the look of the stitches. Like you can see, it's hand spun and it's very thick, and I really enjoy it. So I did a 2x2 rib and then a stockinette hat with a cable. It's just 3 stitches, or 6 stitches I guess, for the cable. And the hat might go to my mom for Christmas, because I really like it. It's very, very snug, and I really like snug hats. I like them when they're not too slouchy. And she's a runner, so I think she might really get use out of this hat. And you can see the cable looks really nice when you're wearing it. So yes, and I knit this on 3mm needles. There's no pattern, I just kind of made it up. And I'm sure you can do the same. Like, it's not a very hard hat. And generally I suck at knitting hats. I'm not very good at them. And because I can never be bothered to get DPNs to do the crown decreases, I just kind of decreased until it got too tangly on my magic loop, and then found off, or drew all the stitches together. But I think it's fine, and I think my mom will love it. And because it's hand spun, it's even more special than a normal hat. My finished object number 2, hang on, let me fix my hair. And my finished object number 2 is the Stephen West mystery knit along for the shawl that just ended. So the last clue is out, and everyone, of course, is posting photos all over Instagram, so I'm sure everyone has seen photos already, but if you have somehow managed not to see any spoiler pictures and you're not finished, you might want to look away. So I will show it now. So I will show it first, and then I'll talk about some details. This is what it looks like. It is very big. So the blue section was clue number 1. Clue number 2 was this garter cable, which is kind of unusual, but I guess it works. Then clue number 3 were these really long garter stitch short rows, which I think give a really nice structure. And then for clue 4, you had quite a few options. I chose the one where you just bind off using I-cord bind off, because I wasn't in love with the shawl and I just wanted to finish it, and also I didn't have that much yarn left over, so I really didn't want to risk running out of yarn in the end. So I finished it, and now that it's finished, I actually quite like it. Like, I was sure I wasn't going to like it, but now, yesterday I wore it, and you can either just wear it like so, which I think is quite nice. Or what I've been doing yesterday is kind of putting it more to the side and then just throwing it around. And I think this looks really nice, really neat. I mean, it is a very unusual sort of shawl, but that is what Stephen West is like known for. So I was thinking about giving this to my sister for Christmas because she's very creative and very out there. But now I'm actually thinking about keeping it because it is really comfortable, and I love big shawls. Like, I love this sort of huge shawl that you can wrap around yourself like a jacket. So yeah, I'm not sure, maybe I'll keep it. The blue yarn is a French yarn that I got from a swap with Aurore from France. And I was really happy to knit this into my shawl because I thought it just makes it more special. So the brand is Les Jolies de Milly, who is a French indie dye, and the colorway name is Ciel Crétoise, or Crétois, I think. I'm not sure. And the white, it's like a white speckly yarn. That is a German brand. It is called Zauberwiese. And those of you who have been watching my podcast for a while have probably heard about this brand because I keep talking about it. It's their linen sock base, and the colorway is called Linen Confetti, which means linen confetti, which I guess really works for this color. And then the black is just a regular 4-ply in the colorway 522. It's not their, completely black, I guess, but it is sort of heathered, a little bit more on the gray side, and I really like it, even though it is less soft than the other two yarns. So yeah, I knit this on 3.5mm needles. I think that's all I'm going to say about it. And I'm going to take it off, so first of all, you guys who don't want to see it don't have to see it, and also because it's really warm, which I like. So now I think I'll move on to works in progress. And I'm really proud to show you this. I finished the body of my sweater. Oh, of my boyfriend's sweater, I should say. So I'm sorry, you're probably all sick of hearing me talk about my sweater or this sweater because I have been talking about this for ages. But it is a men's sweater, so it's going to take some time, and I didn't really enjoy working on it for a while, so it has been going slowly as well. Hang on. So this sweater is the Twilight sweater by Drops Design. The Drops pattern is a free pattern, and I'm knitting it in the recommended yarn, which is Drops Lima, in the colorway 519. Before I go more into what I'm doing on it now, I just wanted to talk about the pattern because Julia from the General Waist Knits podcast is also knitting a Drops pattern, and she wasn't very happy with it. And I agree, I think the pattern is fine, but it's not super detailed. Like, it has all the information somewhere in there, but if you've never knit a garment before, I think I wouldn't recommend their patterns because a lot of times they just say, increase for the or decrease for the V-neck. But it wouldn't exactly tell you if you're supposed to, decrease every right side or every row or, And if you've knit a few garments before, you'll be fine. Or like, you know what kind of decreases to do and so on, but the pattern doesn't really give you a lot of details. And also sometimes I look at the German version of it and it's very unclear. like it'll say after 4 centimeters do such and such, and I'm like, after 4 centimeters after, you know, the last time it said something, or the whole thing after 4 centimeters, and it's a bit unclear. So I've started to read the English version, which is a little bit more detailed and makes more sense to me. But yes, I definitely agree with you there, Julia. I don't think I want to knit any more of the patterns for a while. Like, there is nothing wrong with them. But yeah, it is just kind of a lot more work. So yeah, I finished the body. The pattern suggests doing a moss stitch up here, but I'm just doing stockinette. So that means that I also changed the stitch count and everything got a bit more confusing, but I think it'll work. And I haven't put in the ribbing, I guess, because I want to finish the sleeves first, and then because my stitch count is different, I'm not sure how many rows of the ribbing neck thing I will do. So I decided to wait with that until the end. So what I've started now is I've started the sleeves. And I usually hate knitting sleeves, but with this jumper I'm actually okay with it. I really hated knitting on the body, but now I kept on telling myself it is basically just like a sock. And that has helped me to just get through it. And also I put in some beautiful colorful stitch markers from Denise. And these are the same stitch markers that you can win together with a bag as part of my challenge knit along. And yes, they just kept some interest going, and also I have one up here, the tiny one with the little owl. And this one just marks where I do the increases. So as you can see, I'm knitting the first sleeve. I'm just going a little at a time, and yes. I tried the body on my boyfriend, and it is on the small side. And actually a lot of people who have knit that pattern said that the sizes seem too small. But I still decided to go with the medium size, which is, from the measurements, is exactly what my boyfriend needs. So it fits him. It's just, you know, there's a lot of stretch, but it just kind of tends to shrink up on him. So I'm hoping that with blocking it'll get a bit bigger, and if you have any ideas, do let me know. I would love to hear what you guys think. So now the sleeves I'm trying on him all the time, but they're fine. And with the body as well, like I tried it on with him like while I was knitting it, and it looked okay. It's just that, you know, the stockinette part, it can stretch a lot, but it tends to go back into its, you know, form, I guess. And I'm knitting this on 3.5mm needles, by the way. So yeah, I think that's that. I've just dropped my second work in progress. So my second work in progress is in my beautiful bag that is also from Denise, and that can also be worn in the challenge cowl. So this one I'm keeping for myself, but there is another one which is very, very similar. And this bag I have been taking everywhere with me. So I have been scrunching it up in my bag like this, which I really like doing. But that also explains why it's not as beautiful as it was last time, I guess. But I really, really love this bag. And in it I have my socks. So the first one's here. I think I had finished this sock last week. This is a German sock yarn. And the brand is called Tausendschön, and the colorway is called Blaustern, which is blue star. And I already said last week that I really, really enjoy this yarn. This is my first time knitting with it. It is very soft, and at first I thought it was a high twist yarn, but I don't think so now, because it is squishier than usual yarns and very soft, but that also means that it's a little bit more splitty, which I have split a few stitches, but I still really, really enjoy this yarn because it just makes for such a nice fabric. So I think last time I was just in the ribbing for my second sock, and now I have finished the calf. I did the Fishlips Kiss heel for the second time, and I'm almost ready to start the toe. So I still really like these socks. I'm looking forward to having them finished at some point, but they're very, very fun. And last time I complained about the fish lipscus heel because everyone loves it, so I expected to immediately love it. And then for the first time, I thought it was kind of fiddly and I didn't really like it. And now that I've done it a second time, it's already going a lot faster and I could possibly see myself doing that again. What I am noticing is that while my cuff and foot are knit relatively tight, my stitches in the heel are a lot looser. So I think I was purposely trying to not, make the whole heel super tight, which is what you usually do when you try to, avoid holes. So next time I do a fish lipscus heel, I really have to be careful to knit a bit tighter in the heel itself. But yes, I still haven't tried them on. I kind of like finishing my socks before I try them on because I know that if I try them on and they don't fit, it'll discourage me from knitting anymore. So yes. But I really, really like these, as I said, and I'm knitting them on 2.25 millimeter knit zings, which are my go-to sock needles. They're really, really light and they're relatively cheap. They're not the sharpest tips, but for vanilla socks you don't really need sharp tips. So yes, I really like them. So yeah, that's my socks. I'm anxious to finish these because I have ordered some more sock yarn, including my Christmas sock yarn. I decided to finally order one sock yarn with glitter that is going to be my Christmas socks. But more about that later. My third work in progress is one that you haven't seen. And I'm knitting out of my Angora sock yarn. Let me see. This is a yarn that I got from G from Portugal in a swap, and it is 70% Angora, 30% nylon, 500 meters. So technically a sock yarn. I think I have 120 grams or something. And it is from this Portuguese yarn store called Tricot Brancal, I guess. I'm surely butchering it, but yes. So this is Angora sock yarn. It's really, really, really soft. It's coming out a bit too purple, but yes, I love the color. And I first started the eye bling shawl and then I frogged it because it was a lot of stockinette and I didn't really feel like stockinette knitting. And I have started my second Come What May shawl. So as you might remember, I knit one in my holiday this summer in cotton yarn because I didn't have any yarn with me besides cotton. So I'm really, really happy to be knitting it again in a nicer yarn. So what it is, hang on, I'm having difficulties here. It is a crescent shape shawl, and with all lace projects, they all scrunch up and you can't really see them until they're blocked. But it has eyelet rows, and then it has a really pretty lace pattern. Oh, you can see it against my jumper. And then you have stockinette sections, and I'm halfway through my second lace pattern now. And it has some more eyelets at the bottom. So yes, I'm really enjoying this pattern because it just keeps my interest going. It's easy enough that I can, knit on it while I watch TV. But yes, I really, really enjoy this pattern, and I think it works really well with this yarn. So compared to my other sock yarn, this feels a bit thicker, but it's also very, very loosely plied. So I think that's why. And it is a bit more hairy, which I think is the Angora. So it has almost a bit of a rustic sort of look. But yes, I really, really enjoy this. And the pattern suggests 4mm needles, but I'm using 3.5, which is what I always use. And these are my favorite needles ever. These are my Adi Lace fixed circulars, the ones with the red cable. And they have really good tips, and they're also really, really light. And I usually knit my fingering weight shawls with 3.5mm, so I think it's fine. I am trying to knit loosely as well, but yeah. So this is the Come What May shawl by Susan B. Anderson. and I can definitely recommend the pattern. Even if you're afraid of lace knitting, this one would be like a perfect starting project, because as you're doing the lace, there's no increases for the shawl. So all you do is this, I think it's like 6-row repeat, or 8, I think it's 8 rows, but 4 of these rows are just purl rows. So it's relatively easy and you can memorize it. Like the chart is super easy. I don't even usually knit from charts, but that one is super easy. So I think if you're looking for a first lace project, this might really be one that you would enjoy. Also because some lace shawls, you know, they have a huge stockinette portion and then a fairly big lace section, but this one, it has, you know, stockinette, and then you do one repeat of the lace, and then you do some more stockinette. So yes, definitely one of my favorite patterns. And this is just in a bag that I made. As you can see, it's not very pretty, but I really do like these bags that you can just sort of squish together and take wherever you want. These are my works in progress. I have some spinning to show you. Last week I was talking about the art bat, and I think, halfway through applying it. So the art bat was from, hang on, this brand, Das Mondschaf. And I spun that up really quickly. It was a bat with Angelina, Merino, and Falkland. And I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but this is what came out, and I think it is really pretty. So as you can see, there's a lot of glitter, which I love. And there's pink, there's purple, and there's like this brownie bits, and the brown is what had most of the glitter. So I did a traditional 2-ply just because I wanted to spread all the glitter everywhere, and I'm really happy, and this is actually showing up very well as well. So I would say this is about a sport weight, maybe DK, and I spun it pretty chill out. Like, I didn't care too much about consistency, because it's an art bat, it's hard to spin it consistent anyways. So I just kind of decided to keep the texture, and it's a little thick and thin in places, but I think it really suits this yarn. And it is quite soft. At the moment I'm trying really hard to put less twist into my yarn, because I have been over twisting some of my hand spun, and I generally like a high twist, but I went a bit overboard sometimes, so I'm really happy that this one seems to be better in the twist area. So yeah, that's that. And then I have started spinning on the Fiber by All About Yarn. Let me just get her card. Oh, okay. Oh, this doesn't work. I know I have the cards. No, I can't find the card. But this is Jenny from the UK. And she has an Etsy store called All About Yarn. And what I didn't mention last week is that she has a podcast. I actually found that randomly through YouTube a few days after I told you guys about her Etsy store. So she has a podcast, and I have watched her last episode, and I really enjoyed it. At some point her daughter comes into the podcast and kind of takes over, and it's super cute. So yeah, but she has an Etsy store, and she sells fiber as well as yarn. And last week I showed you my BFL fiber that I got from her. It's a combed BFL blue-faced Leicester top, and I can't show it to you because it currently looks like this. So what I usually do is I take the braid apart while I'm spinning it. I don't know how some podcasters, they show half of the braid and it looks beautiful. I just kind of take everything apart. I thought about doing a fractal spin, but then I was kind of too lazy. So what I'm doing is I'm just spinning it as I go. And as you can see, I've just divided it into very thin sort of strips. And then I just spin right from there. So this is what I have. It doesn't look like I've spun a lot, but honestly, I have put so much work into this. And the reason why that it doesn't look so much is because I have been spinning it super thin. So I was, honestly, this fiber is amazing. It drafts like, you don't have to do anything essentially, it just spins itself. I was really, really enjoying it, especially because the last few spinning projects that I had were all a bit, they were okay, but nothing really, really felt like I was doing the best job. And I really, really needed this sort of project that just goes along and makes me feel like I'm actually good at spinning. And I mean, the colors, look at the colors, they're awesome, right? So yeah, but I was noticing I was spinning it ridiculously thin. And that meant that it took forever. Like, I put so many hours into this, you wouldn't believe it. So now I'm trying to speed up a little bit, and I think I might be spinning a bit thicker now. But I'm consistently spinning thicker, and since I apply it anyways, I think it won't matter. And not sure if you can see it, but it is still like really, really thin. Like, I think I will still get a fingering weight easily from this. And yes, like I said, I really love the colors, and I'm constantly thinking like, I'll spin until I have some more pink, and then it keeps me going. It's kind of like when you knit self-strapping socks. It's really motivating. And in the braid, it looked like there was just black and pink, but then there's like, you know, gray bits, and there's purple. And yes, I really, really love this. So yes, I know I wanted to do a finer spinning project, and now that I'm doing it, I'm realizing it takes so much time. It is ridiculous, but I'm really enjoying it. So that's all I'm working on at the moment. As I implied, I have bought a few things. I really didn't want to buy anymore, but you know, with Thanksgiving and Black Friday and Cyber Monday, everyone was doing sales. So one store that I have been watching forever and never bought anything from. I think I knew all their online things by heart. But I finally ordered from Sarah's Texture Crafts because she had a sale going. And I ordered some more spinning fibers. I ordered some Rolex. I've never had Rolex. So I'm really, really excited to try that. So everything, I'm trying to, you know, order things that are a bit unusual for me at least. So I think I definitely ordered some merino silk, and what else did I order? Possibly merino and tencel? I'm not sure, but I tried to order something a little bit out there. So that should be coming soon. And then I also kind of really didn't want to buy anything else, but honestly, everyone was having sales. And I think I spent about 2 days looking on everyone's Etsy stores and being miserable because I couldn't decide and I didn't know if I should buy something. And in the end, I found a coupon code by a French indie dye called Knitting in France. Oh my god, I hope I'm not saying that wrong. I think so. I put it in the show notes. And like I said, I ordered my Christmas yarn. And yeah, so I think next week I have a lot of stuff to show you. But I wanted to mention one more online store, and that is from my friend G in Portugal. She is actually sending me 2 bags, just because she's awesome. And I really hope that they would be here today, but they're not. But the reason why I'm mentioning her store now rather than waiting until next week is because she just reopened her Etsy store a few days, maybe even, or like a week ago. And her Etsy store is called G's Project Bags, like GIS Project Bags on Etsy. And the reason why I'm mentioning this now is that she has a coupon code until the 6th of December, I think, which is the end of the week. And with the coupon code Do What You Love, all in capitals, you get 30% off, and you also get worldwide shipping 50% off, which is crazy. I think that might be one of the best sales that I've seen over this weekend. So I thought that it makes sense for me to mention this to you now. So maybe some of you can take up the opportunity and get one of her bags while it is on sale, rather than me talking about it next week and the sale has just finished. So I think that's that. This week I'm really excited because I think the day after tomorrow, the Nicolaus surprise bags are being shipped out, which I ordered a few weeks back, where you get 2 surprise skeins of yarn and some goodies. So I'm super, super excited about that. So now we are at exactly 30 minutes and I'm finished with my spinning slash knitting slash, yeah, I guess fiber related talk. And I will go into life in general. And yes, so if you don't want to stay around for that, that's fine. If you do, then that'll make me very happy. Before I go into what happened to me this week, I wanted to take a minute to talk about, I guess, some more personal stuff. And that's because I wanted to be honest with you guys. So I'm not sure if you noticed this or not, or I don't know. But I haven't been feeling too great lately. Or I've had lots of ups and downs, and I just wanted to kind of talk about that because I feel like sometimes, like, while social media and Instagram and all that can be really, really great in the way that you know, make friends and you have support, I think it can also sometimes be really bad for you because you get this sort of impression of everyone being constantly happy, and you feel like you're, you know, supposed to feel happy every day, every second of your life because life is just so great. And what happens is, you know, people show, you know, all the beautiful stuff in their life, but they don't typically show the stuff that is not so beautiful in their life. So you get a sort of impression that people are constantly surrounded by happiness and beautiful knitting things, and, you know, and I feel like sometimes that's a bit hard because, yeah, I think that being real is a big part of, you know, being, you know, active in an online community as well as being active in life in general. So I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but that is just something that I've been thinking about. From a psychological view, it's, you know, this whole thing is basically just social comparison. So what happens is that we automatically do those sort of social comparisons all the time. Like whenever we see or talk to anybody, we compare what they do to what we do, and we, you know, base our opinions and our feelings and everything on those comparisons. And research shows that these comparisons are automatic, and we can't not compare ourselves. Like, we can't stop doing social comparisons. But what we can do is we can, you know, choose how we react to them. So simply knowing, or like, you know, remembering every now and then that, you know, other people only maybe show the beautiful stuff, and, you know, sometimes that, you know, the things that we see online are not really, you know, the real life, but they're, you know, orchestrated because people want to, you know, get more viewers and followers and whatever. I think that can already help us. And like this whole knitting community, and, you know, it's supposed to give us inspiration and, you know, make us feel good and not make us feel bad because we feel like we are not constantly surrounded by beautiful things. So I think, yeah, I don't know. I think my message here is to, you know, remember to be mindful and conscious about those things, that, you know, we don't have to pretend to be happy all the time. And, you know, when I'm having a bad day and I'm podcasting, maybe you'll notice it, but at least, you know, I'm being honest about it. So yeah, I hope you don't mind me being, you know, a bit more personal and honest about that here. I just kind of thought it was important because it is easy to think that everyone else has, you know, everything is so great and everyone's constantly happy, and the truth is that probably they're not. Like, no one is perfect, and no one can be happy and, you know, super amazing and grateful and whatever, you know, 100% of the time. So yeah, that's something that I've been thinking about, and I wanted to share that. So life in general, this week I've done a lot of things. I was invited to a friend's birthday party, which was really, really fun because I got to meet some really, really different people who studied very, very different things to what I study. And at least what happens here is that I think, you know, all my friends study the same thing, and so, you know, you kind of have, you know, you have similar interests, and then it's really, really fun to meet people who are completely different. So that was very enjoyable. And when I walked home at, I think, 1 o'clock in the night, I was walking in the snow, which was beautiful. Then on Thursday, it was my boyfriend's birthday, he turned 30, the big 30, and he was very, very scared, and he refused to have a party. But a few days before his birthday, we were going to sleep, and I was already asleep, kind of, and then he kind of whispered, like, I would really like to have a birthday cake. I would really like to have a chocolate cake. So I was like, oh no, I hate baking. But I mean, I couldn't say no to that. And I had the time, actually. So I made Wednesday my baking day and decided to make a chocolate and nut cake. And Murphy's Law, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So I had a big drama because, it kind of, the cake got very, very huge and started burning at the top while not being done at the bottom. And, I'm sure everyone has baked before and everyone has had those sort of things happen to them. In the end, I fixed it and it actually turned out to be pretty good. So Thursday, we saw each other in the morning and we went out for dinner at night. And then on Friday, his family came around and we spent a lot of time, having another nice lunch and eating cake and just hanging out. And then on Friday night, spontaneously, I decided to visit my family in my hometown. And I spent Friday night making Plätzchen with my sisters. And I'm not sure if it's a German tradition. Plätzchen is the German word for Christmas cookies. So what we do is everyone makes those cookies for Christmas. And usually you do like lots of different recipes. So my family has maybe like 10 or 15 different kinds of cookies and gingerbreads and that sort of thing. And we make them before Christmas. And then in the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, you're constantly stuffing yourself with these biscuits. And everyone kind of has their own recipes and their own special chocolate biscuits and their special vanilla biscuits and so on. So I baked some with my sister, or my sisters. One of them wasn't very motivated. But that was really fun, even though, again, everything went wrong. But it turned out okay. And then on Saturday, I visited my grandparents and had lunch with my family. I'm not really sure what we did, but it was snowing. Because my hometown it's not very far away from here, but it's just a little bit higher. So there we have a whole lot more snow. So when I woke up on Saturday morning, I slept in my sister's room, which was cute. And then I woke up and looked out of the window and there was snow on the ground and it looked really beautiful. And I actually walked into the old city of Rothenburg, which is a very old touristy town. It's very, very famous because, everything, like the houses and stuff, are very old and it's really beautiful. So I took a picture and posted on Instagram and a lot of people commented on it. So I think I'll insert that at the end of the podcast because it was really beautiful. And by the time I was going into the city, it was still quiet and the snow was all fresh and it was really, really beautiful. And then when I left, the snow was, already kind of melting. And yeah, so that was a really, really nice moment. And then I went back to Würzburg, which is where I live now. And we just enjoyed ourselves on Sunday, eating lots of cookies and chocolates. And we went to the Christmas market for the first time, but it was raining. And it was like windy and it was not very enjoyable. But I really wanted to go. So I'm hoping next time I go, it might be like, more Christmassy and snowy and that. Today, for the first time, I decided to attend a philosophy lecture just because I have the time and I wanted to broaden my horizons. And it was interesting. I didn't understand a whole lot. I picked a sort of lecture that is for the first year of philosophy, so I thought, that has to be, relatively accessible, even if you're not studying it. But it was pretty out there in the way that I didn't understand a whole lot of what was going on. It was on metaphysics. And yes, but still, I think I'll go again next week or even possibly try another one tomorrow. Because I think my friend said I just picked a bad topic to start out with. And it is interesting because it is completely different to psychology, which is what I'm majoring in. And I actually know a few people in my degree who do psychology and philosophy, because they're two completely different ways of looking at people. So yeah, that's what's been happening. Like I said, the weather here is kind of gross now. It's raining all the time and it is dark and it's not very nice to go outside. Like this morning I literally walked to uni in the pouring rain, and I walked back in the pouring rain and it's still raining. But that means that I can now kind of cuddle up and enjoy being inside and enjoy my Christmas lights and candles and tea. And yeah. I'm trying to think what else there is to talk about. Last week I had lots of troubles uploading the video, and when it finally did upload, I thought it was only available in bad quality, which is, I think it automatically always plays on 360p, but on YouTube at the bottom you can put the quality up to, I think, even HD. And I think with my camera HD is still not great, but it's a lot better. And I thought that didn't work, but it turned out that later at some point suddenly you could turn out the quality. So I don't know what happened there. This week we got faster internet, supposedly. So I'm hoping that maybe uploading tonight will be easier. But then I constantly get thrown out of the internet by my computer, and that is still happening. So I'm not sure. But yes, it would be nice if I could, do the uploading a bit easier, and I think that would make it easier for me and less time consuming to record episodes. But yeah, so we'll see about that, I guess. By the time you watch this, it'll be uploaded anyway, so it doesn't make sense to talk about it now. A quick reminder is that we still have our knit-along going. It is a challenge knit-along, which is actually a craft-along, because I'm allowing any, sort of fiber-related craft. Or you can sew, you can knit, spin, you can dye yarn, you can, I don't know, do embroidery or whatever. The essential thing is that you are doing something that is a challenge for you. And lately a lot of people have been posting really, really cool finished objects. Like there's a few people who have tried knitting socks 2 at a time. There's one person who is knitting socks in different ways, which is interesting. Then what else is there? There's a few cowls, there's a great shawl in there, there's a few great shawls in there. There's one with beads. I've never tried knitting with beads, but that looks really awesome. One person put in their, I think the same person put in their Stephen West Mystery Knit-along shawl, which looks amazing. So yeah, there's all sorts of inspiration in that finished objects thread. So feel free to have a look and get inspired. I haven't been overly active on the group again. I'm sorry about that. Every week I feel like I'm saying I will try harder and I will be more present. But again, I will try. Let's see if I actually end up being more chatty on there. But I have the best intentions. And I think with that, I'll finish the podcast. Oh yeah, and the challenge goes until the end of the year. So you still have some time. And there are 2 project bags and 1 set of stitch markers, which are the main prizes at the moment. So I think with that, yes, I will definitely leave you guys now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I didn't bore you with my little tangent about, I don't know, my mind and what I think about. Let me know what you think about that. And I hope to see you guys next week. Thank you so much. Have a nice week. Bye bye.